Exactly that.
All right now.
Truly, truly. For many people I work as a sign language interpreter, and I had not interpreted music before I started working with Sweet Honey. I worked for many, many years. For many, many years. Classrooms, workshops, presentations, from Muhammad Ali to President Clinton's inauguration, to Maya Angelou, to Davis, Alice Walker, to the person who can't read or write. And for many deaf people, the experience of being discriminated against and oppressed because of not being able to hear has left a certain self-censorship, a certain fear that you use that word. It's like, what do hearing people have to offer me that I would want to come to a Sweet Honey in the Rock concert? You're hearing people who have discriminated against me. I can't get the job because I can't answer the phone. Well, answering the phone has nothing to do with the work that I do, but because of attitude, because of discrimination based on not being able to hear and the oppression that many people have experienced. So, as you were saying, I was thinking, okay, so part of my challenge, and part of the challenge of Sweet Honey is the work is being done to be inclusive, to invite deaf people, deaf and hard of hearing people, to be included, see what this is about. Understand that this message is not for one segment of the community, of the population. That, talking about the song Run, that domestic abuse happens in the deaf community as well as the hearing community. That there are deaf Latinos who are pulled aside. There was a deaf guy who was killed when there was riots in Detroit. Back when when Dr. King was assassinated, he was going to work, 4 o'clock in the morning. There was a curfew. He was going to work. Cop called him, said, "Hey, you, stop." He didn't hear him. He was shot and killed. So there's those kinds of issues that relate to all of us as human beings across the board. But because of being discriminated against, oppressed, of being denied, sometimes just sending a flyer that says we're having a concert is not enough. We have to really go into, when people have been excluded, we have to go into the community and be proactive.
Hi, I'm Lauren. Thank you so much for being here. I saw, when I lived in Atlanta, which is where I lived before I moved out here, I saw you every year at your annual concert at Spelman. What a powerful venue, and yeah, just very powerful show. And so given the national conversation that has taken place around Georgia lately with the execution of Troy Davis, I have thought about you all a lot and wondered if you all have, I guess in general, what particular creative projects you're working on next, and if the Troy Davis tragedy is a part of any of those projects that you're working on.
It is not, but I am Troy Anthony Davis. Actually, I don't know that we've addressed the death penalty, and I'm sure it will come out at some point. Things come out when they do. It's not always possible to force them because you really want to say things in a particular way so that it can be heard by the greatest number of people. We have some interesting creative projects that we're working on. There are 2 right now. For most of us, there are 3, 4 plus women artists who are very important and who have influenced us in many ways on many levels. And so we created a tribute to those women, to 4 of them: Nina Simone, Odetta, Miriam Makeba, Abby Lincoln, who died while we were in the process of creating the piece for the other 3. it's a big stretch for us because we are an a cappella group, but we wanted to include a jazz trio, which would allow us to expand the kind of material that we were working on and would meet the styles of the women that we were trying to honor. The newest piece, which we're still working on and just now beginning to learn, is called Affirmations for a New World. And it's a piece that we'll do with full symphony and choir. Each one of us has written a song that will that has been set to music for orchestra for us and this choir. And so I don't know whether others want to talk about the song. Mine basically says change, we can't escape change. The world that we live in at this moment is not going to be the world that we live in the very next moment. And so how is it that we prepare ourselves to deal with that kind of change? What does it mean for us, and how, how do we move through our resistance to change so that we can kind of keep up? Because things are going faster now than they ever have before. And that creates a kind of chaos, in a sense, that we have to learn how to deal with. So that's what mine's about. Anybody else?
Well, about affirmations, first of all, I don't think that tribute show is so challenging. You know why? And that's me. The thing that's very interesting about the tribute is that we are doing it with a jazz trio. But I think on some level it's more challenging for our audiences because they're used to hearing us a certain way, and every woman on stage has 2 solos that they do. Music that really means something personal. It has an emotional attachment, or you just dig the song. The words, are really, really wonderful to you. And I think that it's an amazing piece. I love it so much because I think the world gets to see Sweet Honey in the Rock and a lot of her amazing and ever-expanding splendor.
Oh, wow.
That's right. I believe it. And I think that, you work with other artists and you find new ways of expression. And no matter how old you get, that's how your art expands, and that's how you are able to reach out to new people. All of those women have something to do with our lives one way or another. Our generation of women, from the politics to the love songs to the amazing stories that the songs told, all of those things together. And I think we rose to the challenge just amazingly. I love the show. It's going to be an album too, so you have to listen out for that too. I'm always
It's been
promoting. I'm
recorded.
sorry. I'm sorry.
The
I'm
album
always doing-
thing I don't know about, but it'll be available to you in
Yeah,
some
album.
form of media.
Yes, I still remember albums. And also for Affirmations, the lyrics that I wrote had a lot to do with basically someone telling me once out loud in a very brusque manner to stop moving so much. I was a grown woman. I must have been 50-something then. Stop moving so much. Just sit still. Can't you just sit still for a minute? And I was like, oh.
You mean I go on stage?
No, in a meeting. And I was just happy. I was just being myself, talking about things, being creative, little things coming up. And I think when I went back over, I wrote a poem about it. And so when I went back through trying to figure out where I was going to find the lyric, I went to my diaries and I started looking at lyrics and, storylines and, beautiful as I am and always will be. Some people say stop moving. How can I not move forward? I'm beautiful as I am and always will be, and just brilliantly undone. So all of the stuff that falls apart and comes back together, all of those things make me. That's who I am. I'm creative. I'm energized. I'm close to being a serious senior, but nobody's going to tell me to stop moving and tell me to stop writing or shaking my booty or doing whatever it is I feel like doing, because I am a child of God. The universe is ever expanding. The world is constantly moving, and I'm right along with it until I shut my eyes and say, oh, I got 15 more minutes. Hold on. and say some more stuff, write some more poetry, and let it move forward.
All right.
Amen.
This is good. What's yours?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
Say yes. Yes, yes. Affirmative action.
My song is called Yes, and it's quite simple. As I stood quietly one day, I said, I am here because I'm supposed to be here. And that means I have things to do, and you're here because you're supposed to be here. Somebody prayed for you to be here, and the universe answered yes, and you were born. That's what it's about.
We haven't really had this conversation. I'm so excited.
Mine, just part of the lyrics says, if you're looking for the world and all its bling and all that you're imagining, and you want to be the queen and you want to be the king, and you roll with the con just to taste that ting, and you live with the con just to hold that bling, then let me tell you something. Shiny things, golden rings, crystal stairs, designer wares, affluent cares and plastic cares, and on and more, and unawares, your life is slipping by you. And love has died inside you. And outside, just a pride you know is only there to hide you. And ills and pills and tears and fears have come to live beside you before you take the path that kills the best you have inside you. And deep inside, your spirit cries for what has been denied you. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on to your vision. Hold on to your dream. Pray for awakening no matter how dark this nightmare seems. In this world of illusion, confusion, and shame, the blessed seek life. Some just want to play the game. And that's all I remember.
Oh, that's a hard one to follow. You remember all yours. How come you didn't just let me go and then you go? Mine is called The Day the World Awoke. And I wrote that because I feel in a lot of ways people are asleep. And what I talk about in my song is one day, while everybody was doing whatever it is they do, the world woke up and found out that love had superseded hate and that peace had won out over war. And all those things that we put out into the universe, we realized that we were all connected to one another, that we each really did walk in one another's shoes. And that's the basis of my song.
Affirmations for a new world.
Thank you so much. I know that we are running close to time, so I want to be respectful of both your time and your time because I know you need to make it to class. So I guess we'll wrap up with our final song. So I will...
Great. Thank you all very much for your time and for your attention and your kind consideration. It's really great to be here and have an opportunity to talk with students and to share our music and just have some time with you and see your concerns. And thank you so much for embracing Sweet Honey in the Rock. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dum 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 da dum 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 da dum da dum 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 dum
Together we move into our lives with arms open wide.
one sacrifice, what pulls us together and makes us strong, what brings us to a space where we belong. Is love, precious love, in prayer we trust, by hope we live, on truth we stand, from our hearts we give. We give love. Oh, our circle is one where love is the key, surrounding each one in this family. And as time passes by, life will teach us always to try to pull together, to be strong, hold on when things are right or wrong, and give love.
Nikanji Melodica Sound, Give Love. Thank you all very, very much.